Channel 31 wishes to advise viewers that our next program is classified MA and contains medium-level coarse language. Repeating, our next program is classified for mature audiences.
Streets, Collingwood.
Monday night, it's The Peel. I'm Ralph McLean. You're watching Blah 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 on Ben TV, Melbourne's gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender television group. Ben TV proudly brings you this show with the support of The Peel. We're not drinking now, but we might have a drink later on. Tonight we're going a little bit out of key and a little bit out of real world politics issues in the gay, lesbian, bisexual and transgender community, and we're going into cyberspace and our sibling, sister, brother program, SQUEAL. Tonight we've got 5 guests and a regular. I've got our regular Drew. You're not being street trash this week, are you, Drew?
I feel a bit trashy tonight.
You feel a bit trashy, but only a bit. After last night.
I'm off the wagon.
Off the wagon, okay. On my right, we've got James Scurry from RMI TV. James is... what are you, James? Production manager with RMI TV. And we've also got Dave Truman. Dave is coordinator, instigator of Q Melbourne. Moderator, okay. We may or may not have moderation here tonight on Blah Blah Blah. We have not just one, not just two, but 3 glittering stars from SQUEAL. We've got Steve. Steve Anderssen is the executive producer in the green. We've got Paul Eglinton. I can even spell Eglinton now too. Welcome, Paul. And we've got SQUEAL's favourite drag queen, I think, Tabitha Turlington.
I should have brought a dictionary today.
Why?
Oh, his big words are flying around just everywhere.
Oh, no, don't be silly. We'll get rid of them by the time you finish. It's all right. Now, what we're talking about tonight is squeal or screech. You could say squeal or scream, squeal or cringe, but essentially it comes from a sort of j'accuse from Dave Truman in an email mailing list called Queer Melbourne or Q Melbourne. Now, Dave, explain to us what Q Melbourne or Q Melbourne News is all about. How does it happen? What's out there in cyberspace?
Okay, how Q Melbourne works is that various people that have access to the internet become subscribers to a one group or an e-group mailing list, which means that all the...
so they get messages each day?
They do indeed. They can submit messages which are then recirculated amongst the group. And it's a message exchange service. Also,
so it's a bit like notes at the back of the classroom in school.
Oh, we take it a bit more seriously.
Well, how is it more serious?
It's seen as it was originally, its inception was that there was some dissatisfaction with what was then MSO and Brother Sister, and the founder of it believed that there needed to be an alternative news service in Melbourne.
So the founder was a ratbag?
I've never met the man, so I couldn't tell.
Oh, really?
That.
Okay.
I took it over some 6 or 8 months after.
So they were pissed off with MSO and Brother Sister for being what? Too establishment?
Perhaps a little too establishment. I get the impression that perhaps that they the items of news that were being missed, that they felt that MSO and Brother Sister should be...
What are some examples of items of news that they missed?
Well, I don't actually know, Rob, because I wasn't there at the time. I took it over sometime later.
All right. Well, since you've taken it over, what do? You sit in cyberspace and say yes or no, you can circulate that message or not?
Yes, we...
So you censor You censor what people want to put.
No, we call it moderation. We have some simple rules.
Rules. Okay, we've got rules. What sort of rules have we got?
We have rules. You can't, the same as your medium here, you can't slander people, you can't libel people, and we ask the statements aren't inflammatory.
Okay, now that's a really good start. Now, inflammatory. How do you characterise your original email that you penned, or rather gave good keyboard with, in relation to SQUEAL? You sat down Monday night innocently watching Channel 31, as we all are, watching SQUEAL. Now, what was your reaction? What did you say in your email?
Well, firstly and foremostly, I'm not a regular watcher of Ben TV.
Oh, come on, Dave, you will be, though.
I've learnt that perhaps I ought to.
Now, what was your reaction?
Well, I was channel surfing, and that was my point. I was sitting out in my suburban home, channel surfing, flicking through the channels, and I happened to come across the SQUEAL program on Channel 31. And as I said in my email, I stopped for a moment because the thing that drew my attention was that Melinda Edwards was on it, the police gay and lesbian liaison officer.
Now, we should explain your connection with the police. You don't have one anymore.
No, I'm retired.
You're a retired copper.
I am.
And in fact, you're really living history in relation to gay, lesbian, bisexual and transgender past in Melbourne, aren't you?
I have been referred to as a living legend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the reason for this is... What happened?
Well, I was probably the most senior openly gay member of the Victoria Police for quite a number of years. I also founded the Gay and Lesbian Police Employees Network.
Right. And
that brought us into great conflict with the police department and the then Police Minister, Bill McGrath. So.
And Bill is fair. It's fair to say is a nice country bloke, but you wouldn't say that he knows much about porters and dykes.
Well, I always loved.
Let alone drag queens, Tabitha.
I always loved the way the former Premier, Mr. Kennett, referred to him as a man's man. I believe that that could be open to any interpretation that one wanted.
Well, the former Premier characterised grammar boys as being an absolutely acceptable second choice if you can't get a girl. But that's in Hansard.
Well, Ralph, it happens at every academy.
Drew, that happens in every academy. We're not going to get into Trinity this week. No. That's old news by now. Now, Dave, Melinda was on SQUEAL, and she was talking about the police, or she was liaising, or what was she doing?
Well, frankly, that was my problem, Ralph. I couldn't tell what was going on.
Well, sometimes we do have problems with that.
It appeared that everybody was talking, or more to the point, screaming at the same time. I watched it in somewhat a state of paralysis for a short time.
I can see the first lips now.
Gets me. How dramatic.
That I was trying to figure out what was going on. Whatever you were trying to produce that evening, you weren't getting your message across.
And so essentially you were shocked. You were shocked and you were disapproving.
No, I'm not shocked and I'm not disapproving. I merely didn't understand what was going on. It was a noisy, screaming, squealing affair.
Okay, we're going to go to the squealers now. Now, Steve, no, Tabitha, you're dying to say something, aren't you? You're dying to come over to squeal.
No, because I was actually on that. I think I was on that show.
It was you that was squealing.
You were anchoring.
I'm a natural born squealer. But was it when we're showing the footage of the carnival? Is that when you surfed in?
There was the week before carnival.
No, it's the week before.
Pride March. It was when we were showing Pride March footage.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Is that the show you were watching when you were paralysed?
It was the week before last.
Yeah, but when we were showing the Pride March.
And you were talking over the footage.
Always giving our general things and that. And I don't see... Do you understand why Melinda's there?
I eventually got some idea why she was there.
It's just because I do a lot of, for minus 18s, say, let's just say for that, which are the young gay guys coming out to nightclubs. We did a show with her. Melinda was there and nice enough to come on stage. And it was just funny when I asked the crowd, how many of you are too scared to go and speak to a police officer, or if you're getting troubles at home or with friends, and having Melinda there, when they're able to go up and speak to her, then they will now feel comfortable, if they are in trouble, to ring her up. And she was giving them her number, where they could contact her, so now they don't have to feel afraid, they don't have to be scared. So I think by seeing her on TV, whatever age they are, Melinda's a face there, so they've got a face to a name if they need to ring somebody up and need help. So I think it's good if she's there with nonsense or with something serious. It's just nice having her there, so that people out there know they've got someone to speak to, or those who are involved in domestic cases.
Now, technically, though, the criticism was not whether it was a good thing that Melinda was there or not, but was it understandable? Where Steve,
Can
as
I
EP,
reply to this?
you're presiding
Now,
over
I
this.
actually booked Melinda. It's one of my duties as the executive producer of SQUEAL, and we've had Melinda on several times over the last year and a half, and we've got to know her. She's the gay and lesbian liaison officer. That means she liaises with us. Now, she can sit there and say, yes, I'm a police officer, and that's all very good, right? But it's not going to bring her any closer to the community. So I thought it was much better, and she tended to agree and felt comfortable with it at the time, that she came on, not in the capacity as officer, even though she was wearing her uniform, and she wasn't there to do that, but she was there to be one of us and participate in community television and be one of the Squealers, which is a light-hearted show. I think that she was liaising very well with us. She was having a good time. She got asked some sticky questions that she
Dodged quite well.
And she gained a lot of respect from us, as well as the viewers, I'm sure, of maybe a younger nature. You are of a different age group to most of our viewers, I think.
Oh, I don't
And-
know about that,
I just think
Steve.
it might be old
We have
school
quite a
to
few
young
old
school.
people. Old people, young
But hang
people,
on.
middle-aged people.
Yes, but what I'm-
middle-aged like you and me, or no, actually you're
No.
almost
I mean, I'm
middle-aged.
just thinking of the young queens that go out on the scene and do the partying and stuff.
Yeah.
But also, you have a background from the police force, so you're looking at it through police officers' eyes, whereas the rest of us are looking at it through community eyes.
Dave, you're retired now. But as a retired police officer, what?
Don't stereotype me into
I
being
didn't
what
mean
I
to.
may or may not be. I am, merely because I'm a retired police officer doesn't mean that I'm necessarily conservative or I can't enjoy myself or have a good time. The program, people, was bad television.
In your opinion?
It was bad television.
In your
It
opinion?
failed to communicate the message that you wanted to communicate, whatever it was.
Sometimes there's not a message there. It's just about having fun. No, everything
Not
has to be a
everything
message.
is so serious. I mean,
It's
You folks
light-hearted
certainly-
entertainment. Sometimes my patter is funny. Sorry, continue.
I was going to say, you people certainly appeared to be having fun. I don't know how many of your viewers were, because I certainly couldn't understand it. Now, again, I qualify that with, this is one of the first times I've come in and watched the program. My critique on the internet asked other questions apart from being critical. I called it the cringe program. It was when setting off my cringe factor at home like no one's business.
Well, it is actually true that that not everybody in the community does squeal or screech or scream at the same time, but there are a lot of queens that do that, Dave. You go to any gay bar and you'll see quite a lot of screeching and screaming and squealing. And it is typical of the gay and lesbian community, isn't it?
I don't think it's typical of the whole gay and lesbian community.
No.
But quite frankly,
What
it's
is typical of the whole gay and
Thank
lesbian
you.
community?
We're diverse.
Pick one thing that we all have. Sexuality.
Sexuality.
Oh, wow.
and how many different variants are there on that?
We're all
Okay,
sexual,
now
really.
we're cringing here on blah blah blah. We're talking about SQUEAL. We're talking about cyberspace, and we'll be back in a second or two.